G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm David, and today we've got this pretty cool collected Callistemon on the table. Now I don't have a real lot of work to do to this tree at the moment, but I'd like to just go over its backstory a little, show you where it started from when I first collected and sort of its future plans. I do want to pull it out of the pot today, and not a major repot. I just want to try and lift it up in the pot a little bit and try and expose some more of these roots and see if there's anything sort of useful just under the soil level. It's been in this pot for probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years. So this is pretty much what the tree looked like when I first collected it. Believe it or not, but every bit of foliage that you can see in this shot is now no longer on the tree. So what I didn't like about it initially was this tall, strong, vertical branch that came off halfway up the trunk. That whole thing just seemed to dominate the whole tree. It was straight and just not very interesting at all. So that was one of the first things that I removed. And my hope was always that this thing would backbud on the trunk, somewhere in a similar sort of area, but something that I could get to grow on a bit more of an angle away from the trunk. I didn't want something just growing straight up and vertical. And it took a long time before I got a shoot in the right place. It shot a couple of times, and then we seemed to get a hot day and it had burned the shoot off and the shoot would die. But I now do have a branch coming out. And I have wired it a little bit, but that's not really important because I'm going to let that branch grow until it gets to a nice thick size, and then I'm going to cut it right back and let it shoot again to try and get some taper in the branch. So most of that branch will end up getting cut off anyway. And as for future plans, I think this will always be the front of the tree. We spin it around to the back. It's still pretty cool looking, but it's not as interesting without that hollow. I've got a little shoot here that could be a nice little back branch. And when I start cutting it back hard, I reckon it'll shoot out more off this old trunk. It doesn't mind sending new shoots out off the old wood, which is good. Just got to try and avoid the hot weather when it tends to burn those little shoots off. Once they get to this size, they're not too bad, but when they're only young shoots, they tend to burn off pretty easily. This branch here, like I said, it'll continue to grow out, get it nice and thick, bring it back, and I'd eventually like to establish a little foliage pad out here on a nice crooked little branch. This here, I don't know if I'd like to put another bend in it out this way somewhere, and then like get a foliage pad out this side a little bit, and just have the one out this side to sort of balance it. I don't know if I'd like to get a branch coming out down a bit lower. Yeah, I don't really know. Or maybe this can continue out here and just have a foliage pad over this side, and maybe get one coming out here and settle something over there. It depends on what shoots I get as it grows to what I can actually do with it. But for now, all the foliage stays. It's all in active growth at the moment, so it's all pretty good. What I will do, I'll get this thing out of the pot and we'll clean the roots up a little bit. These saws are handy to just run around the edges. Just releases the grip on the pot that the roots have. It should come out fairly easily, I think. Like that. It's not root bound by any means, but it does have a lot of fibrous roots on the bottom of the pot, so it won't hurt to give it a bit of a tidy up. Should be able to reuse these mesh pieces and put them straight back in the bottom of the pot. Should be good, save me mucking around making new ones. So mainly, I just want to loosen some of this up around the top. Let's see if we can't bring the whole level up a little bit more. I've also got this old root here. It's really weak. It's never going to grow anything. It's all dead wood, but it's not strong at all. So I will cut that off as well. Might as well do it now. I've been umming and ahhing about that since I collected the tree, whether I should leave it or cut it off. And I could never make up my mind, but now it's gone. Yeah, this root here is still alive. It's got a lot of fibrous roots and stuff coming off it, which is good. Otherwise I'd probably get rid of that too. But it has quite a lot of roots coming off the bottom here, which will strengthen up over time, and hopefully we can thicken them up into some nice thick roots to get a bit of a root base out this side. Like we've got this big huge one out this side. It was obviously there when we collected it. It'd be good to have something on the other side to balance it out a little bit. Probably don't want to go too much deeper than that. Because I would probably like the soil level to be down here eventually. We could probably do that this time. It likes to shoot a lot of roots off up in here too, which I don't really like. So it's got some nice strong roots out this side, which gives me hope that we can build some sort of a nice root base out this side like we've got out the other side. Part of the reason for wanting to lift the tree up is so that you can lift this up out of the ground a little bit more, just so we can see it. You know, it was sort of half buried before. But yeah, I think I'll just clean that up a little bit more, tease out some roots on the bottom, and then we'll whack it back in the pot. I'd probably like to chop half of them off, to be honest. I can't believe it's actually raining. I hope that cools it down a bit because it's hot as buggery in here. Anyway, I won't go too hardcore on the bottom there. There's plenty of time for that when we get around to doing a full repot again. All we've got in here is a mix of scoria, zeolite, perlite and some potting mix, just standard potting mix to try and retain water a bit better. Seems to work okay here, but it's only early days in using it, so. There's probably an okay there if I don't fill it up too full. Oh, that's actually a damn nice shower. That's good. It's exactly what we need. Very good. You just get our chopstick in and try and get this stuff down into all the air gaps as best we can. This one won't be too bad because we haven't bare rooted it or anything, so. Sometimes I will tie the tree in if I think it's going to move around too much. But I don't think it's going to be an issue with this one. The base was left pretty flat, so it'll sit in here pretty good. And the way these things grow, it'll only be a month and it'll have roots everywhere. It'll be settled right in. Oh, listen to that rain. That is awesome. And we've been getting some good consistent rain here in Queensland, but our area sort of missed out on the big rain. So we need to run water and fill our dams up. So right, this is just music to my ears. Probably shit for the audio, but I don't care. Alright, so that's about all we're going to do on this tree today. Like I said, this has to grow and thicken up, cutting back. That one has to grow, thicken up, cutting back. And then we can start developing some finer branches from there. I might take it out when the rain stops and I'll give it a bit of a hose off just to try and clean it all up a bit. And throw a shot in right at the end of what it looks like all cleaned up on the bench again. So, but yeah, that's it for my collected Callistemon. Let me know what you think of it. And thanks for watching. See you on the next one.